What is up, podcast family, and welcome back to episode number 78 of the Hook It podcast. Today, I am joined by Wyn Masters. Wyn and I have been going back and forth for a while now, trying to lay this thing down. And what most people might not realize is Wyn bust his ass to get to the position he is in now. He worked some crazy jobs and made some huge commitments to become a professional rider / personality in the mountain bike world. On this episode, we take a deep dive into some of those things that he went through and the reasons why he decided to recently launch the Privateer GoFundMe page. Plus, plenty of insights, plenty of crazy and funny stories. I think you guys are going to love this episode. I thoroughly enjoyed sitting and chatting with Wyn today. So yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Before we drop in on this episode, I want to give a quick shout out to our show sponsors. First of all, Sax Underwear. Incidentally, actually, the first time I met Wyn was this time last year at the Malverns Classic. Wyn was there. For some reason, I think the airline had lost his bag, but he had no clothes. So we hooked him up with a load of Sax to get him through the week and forever. So it's pretty cool. It's kind of fitting. We've got Wyn almost a year to date on the podcast. But this episode, we're going to bring to you by the Vault. So the Vault is the go-to if you're looking for all-round underwear for everyday use or for sport. They feature breathable micro mesh, which keeps your torso nice and fresh. Anti-odor technology, your friends are going to want to hang out with you. They are moisture wicking, so when you start sweating, this pair of underwear will get rid of that sweat and it'll keep you, again, nice and fresh. And they feature the patented ballpark pouch. If you've never experienced it, imagine an upside down hammock. Place your nuts in there. It's going to prevent batwing, prevents chafing. Next level comfort, like an angel's hand cupping your nutsack all day, every day, whenever you're wearing Sax. For more info, head to hookitproducts.co.uk, where you can find a good range of Sax underwear, or head to your local bike, skate, ski, snow, surf store. Or if you're outside the UK, head to saxunderwear.com. And if you can, tell them we sent you. We are also brought to you by hookitproducts.co.uk. Hook It is the one-stop shop for all things mountain bike, whether you're after some Sax underwear, brake pads, mud guards, grips. What else we got? We got the new Red Bull Spect eyewear range. Just check it all out, guys. You've got the full back catalogue of the podcast is on there too, along with like tech info and blogs. There's all sorts of stuff going on. That's hookitproducts.co.uk. And if you enter the promo code podcast, that'll get you 10% off anything and everything on the store. Easy. Okay, first of all, we're halfway through 2019, so I just want to say a really, really quick thank you to everyone who has supported the podcast so far, from the beginning until now. 2019 has been a crazy start to the year. We've had some amazing guests from all sorts of different walks of life and action sports, etc. I mean, we've had Peter Jameson just after his film came out. We've had Jake Pantone from Envy, Max Fredrickson, Ben Cathro, Todd Mayen from Nitro Circus, my buddy Joe Bowman, Jace McAlpine, and most recently Duncan Shaw, which went down really well. So if you enjoyed the episode and you left a review as well, you will know that you could win a pair of Sax underwear. All you have to do if you want to win a pair of Sax underwear is make sure you leave a review on iTunes or just share the podcast with your friends on Instagram, Facebook, wherever. Just drop it a share and I'll pick it up and make sure that I enter you to win a pair of Sax underwear. This week, we are going to give a pair away to Ricardo Smooth on iTunes. If that's you, slide into the DMs on Instagram or wherever and we'll hook you up with a pair of Sax underwear ASAP. And that's it, guys. Again, a huge thank you for your feedback and support on this podcast. It's crazy how far it's come. Sometimes I have to take a step back and look at it and be like, wow, the download figures are constantly growing. And it's great. It's cool to be able to create a community and do rad things like chat to Wyn Masters for a couple of hours. So yeah, thank you. Anyway, let's get into this episode. We've got a brand new introduction from our mate, Ollie Wilkins. So let's hand over to Ollie, a little bit of Zeb, and get into this conversation with Wyn Masters. Enjoy.
This Hook It podcast is proudly brought to you by none other than myself, Ollie Wilkins. I'm introing it. I'm not even on this show, and I'm introing it because that's how much I love it. And I do this. This is unpaid. You know, I'm just here. I'm just introing podcasts I love to listen to myself. So, and I hope you enjoy it too. And I hope you enjoy this show, even though it's not got me in, but it kind of does because I'm here now. But it kind of doesn't as well because I should go on again. But we'll see, you know. I hope you enjoy it. I hope it's nearly as good as it could be if I was on it. But I am on it. It's very confusing.
Keep very calm. Give me all your money. Try to count to 10. Little doesn't know it's about to begin. Push it too far, you're a killing machine.
Oh, right.
A yarn, have a bloody good yarn, yeah.
Let's have a bloody good yarn, mate.
Yeah.
All right, man. Thanks for doing this. Appreciate it. It's good.
Sweet. Yep.
Quick turnaround as well. Quick direct message this week. Do you want to do this? Boom. Here we are. It's rad.
Yeah, no mucking around.
No kissing, man. We're going straight in on it.
Into it, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Sweet.
Is that first podcast for you as well, I think?
I've done a couple of other ones, but not too many.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Do you listen to many podcasts as well? I know, like, you travel shitloads.
Yeah, I listen to probably maybe 5 podcasts a week or something.
Do you?
Yeah.
Anything stand out? Like, what's top picks, man?
I get into Jace's stuff sometimes, the Gypsy Tales.
Yeah.
Depending who he's got on, but most of them I've listened to, so yeah.
You need to do that one, man, for sure, next time you're back over there.
Yeah. Keen to get on that, but we just haven't had time to connect, so make it happen sometime.
Definitely. The thing I really respect what Jace does is he only ever does them in person. I think that's rad. And
yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah,
it is. And given the opportunity, I think that's what I do. But it's nice to be like sporadic as well, like this. Like, dude, do you want to just jump on and we'll chat about like the stuff you've got going on, so we can just do it. But I know Jace is like really against doing that, so it's cool. I respect it. It is the best way of doing these things. I mean, sat like this is next best thing. But yeah. And for me, I want to do more like that, man. I love what he's got going on. I like the brand of it, the whole thing, what Jace is doing. And it's cool.
Yeah, he's doing cool stuff.
He's doing some really cool stuff. And Jace has become a friend of mine as well. Like, since it was a listener that put me onto it. And I reached out. I was like, dude, you need to come on my podcast. I want to talk to you. And ever since, we've been like really good friends. In fact, I might go over there towards the end of the year and go do his podcast as well.
Yeah, sick. That'd be cool. I also listen to heaps of motocross ones. So
oh yeah,
Pulp MX and what's the other one? Whiskey Frodo Show.
That's good as well, right? That's really cool.
They got some good stuff. So.
Yeah, they have. I fucking love Grant, dude. Grant is who just gets absolutely annihilated on every episode. It's hilarious.
Yeah, just says it as it is. So it's good. Yeah,
that's cool, man. It's cool.
Yeah,
but yeah, thanks for doing this, man. I really appreciate it. Like I said before, thanks for taking the time out. I know we've been going back and forth for a while about making this happen, but it's the hardest thing about this, dude, is getting people. Like, it's not a problem. Like, sort of like starting the conversation of, do you want to come on and do it? But actually having the time to sit down and have a yarn, and get schedules to line up and all that sort of stuff is pretty tough. So,
lucky I've got not much going on. I'm pretty crook, so been a bit sick. Yeah, since Fort William, so just taking it easy and hopefully come right.
What's going on?
Yeah,
like just
a bit of a chest infection sort of thing.
Okay. Yeah. Where are you right now as well? Did you say Madrid?
No, Munich. I live in Munich with my girlfriend here, so been living here for the last 3 or 4 years.
Have you?
Yeah.
I don't know why, man. For some reason, I just assumed you always went back. I think as well, I saw the Spokes Tales videos where it was from your house, right?
Yeah, I go to New Zealand as well, so...
Okay.
I live in Europe during the race season and a bit more. And then I train in New Zealand in the winter quite a bit as well. So
Okay.
Got best of both worlds.
Yeah, perfect balance by the sounds of it, man.
Yeah, it works pretty well. Yeah.
Sweet. So, first thing I wanted to get into, really, dude, like I say, there's never really any structure to this, but the initial reason for reaching straight back out was what you've just done with setting up the privateer fund, the GoFundMe, man. Like, obviously, really commendable, amazing what you've done. The amount of money you raised so quickly as well was wow, crazy. It's really good.
Yeah.
And it seems to just continue to be going. I mean, I checked it out yesterday. It was at like 13K.
Yeah, we got 13,500, I think, now. So it's pretty crazy in
sick,
just 5 days.
God.
Yeah.
Crazy. So just tell me a little bit then, dude. Like, how come you decided to do that like now, and what sort of really spurred it on?
No, as I said, I listen to a lot of the motocross stuff and follow that quite a lot. And they do have some privateer awards within motocross.
Yeah, so Dino does one too.
Dino does his gas card thing.
Yeah.
It's like $200 fuel voucher for the privateers, and then Pulp MX did like the worst place person who didn't qualify at every Supercross, I think.
Okay, right.
So you get like, I think 1 point if you just miss out, and then it was like at the end the person who just missed out the most times. I think that's how it worked. And then so they gave 32 grand or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But they did it as a raffle, so people would put money in and they can win tickets to win a moto. They gave away a 450, I think.
Bloody hell.
And
wow.
And so I saw that as well, and then AMA has Privateer Power Award, so every race they give an award to the best privateer.
Yeah.
And then I thought, why don't we have this in mountain biking?
Because there's really been nothing, not that I've seen, nothing like it.
They don't even get it acknowledged, so it's like kind of, it's way harder to be a privateer.
Yeah.
And they're getting no acknowledgement, so why not start something up? And I would have been stoked if there was something like that when I was a privateer, so just get it going.
I've also had like a bit of a sort of glimpse into that world as well. So we've got a separate series called EWS or Bust. And the reason that came around was we had like a supported rider. You know, we're not a huge company. We don't have a massive budget for this sort of stuff. And we had a supported rider called Rich Payne, and he races the Enduro World Series. Well, he did do. And he came to me and he was like, look, man, is there any chance of some sort of like help for... I'm trying to think when it was. It's probably like, I think we're in our third season, so it's like 3 years ago. And I was like, look, you know, money's relatively tight. How about we set up this podcast series where we can sort of like promote you and what you're doing? And what it does is we basically like just track him around the Enduro World Series. And after every round, we catch up and we chat about how hard it was to get there, where he ended up staying, the results, all that sort of stuff. So it's been super interesting to like just hear how fucking hard it is to go race these things.
Yeah, and give a bit of insight into actually how it is.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's pretty cool, yeah.
It has. It's been sick, man, and we've learnt a lot. It's got a cool little following as well now. You know, where people are actually interested in what Rich is up to. And don't get me wrong, you know, he's not out there fighting for top tens or anything like that. But you know, he's trying. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just cool to tell that story.
Never give it a go, so they want to see how it actually is to do it. You know.
Yeah, exactly. So it is that glimpse into sort of like your working man's EWS series where it's, you know, all paid for by himself. You know, he's got a couple of sponsors for a bike and, you know, wheels and a few other things. But for the most part, it's all self-funded, and it's been super interesting, dude, to hear like how hard it is and how much money he actually does spend. I mean, like last year he was totaling up his flights. I think he spent like £10,000 on flights and fuel and fucking all that stuff. So yeah,
it's not cheap. Yeah,
nah, it's not cheap, man. It's not cheap. So
and there's just no acknowledgement, so that's why we got it going.
Yeah, and obviously that's what I kind of want to do with that. And I'm not comparing the two, but like that's kind of what I want to do is just like show, look, this is how hard it is to go and do this stuff. So you've got this pot of money now, and then is the plan to is it still growing? Like, can people keep donating?
Yeah, it's still going. Like, I haven't even really decided like when we should close it off, but I think it makes sense to keep it going for most of the season.
Yeah,
and then at the end of the season, so basically, I want to do. We were going to do the average amount every race, but now it's decided like €1,000 to the best privateer at every race.
Got you.
So just one award. It's much easier than having 3 different awards for categories or anything like that. So one award, you choose the standout performance. So you have to compare sometimes like what category they were in, how they were living at the race, all that sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And then give away one award, 1,000, and then at the end of the season, whatever's left over, we do 2 awards for Privateer of the Year and Downhill and Privateer of the Year and Enduro. So
amazing.
That's what. Yeah.
That's so rad, dude.
Yeah. So €1,000 makes a big difference, and I could have lived off that for a long time when I first was racing.
You probably did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
lived off less. So yeah.
So the first person who won was Nina Hoffman, and then the second. So how come you missed the first round? Did all this come around just after?
Yeah, I was just like thinking, let's just get this going. So I said and thought with them that we're going to start, because I thought about it for a little while, and then I was like, why not just say we get it going? Like I was trying to try and get some sponsors behind it and do it that way, but then to get it going faster, it's much easier to do it with the fund we set up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Otherwise, and then next year, because it's already a thing now, I can get the sponsors for it, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
So we just set it up and got it going, and had I think I got 430 donations, so it's pretty cool.
It's crazy, man.
It's a good community in the sport, so it's pretty rad for that.
It is. And I've seen a few of the stands, I think, chucked in the decent wedge as well, which is really cool.
Yeah, stands. The 2 companies that I saw on there were Stands and Propane Bikes, or both put in €1,000. So it's good on them for supporting the privateers.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's awesome. Yeah. It's really cool. And I love that the second one was, I can never say his name, Johannes von
Kleibelsberg.
Kleibelsberg. Yeah. That guy deserved it for sure, man. He's
racing in jeans for a start, so he's already the essence of a true privateer. Yeah.
Is he racing in jeans because he doesn't have a clothing sponsor? Oh, right.
Well, he has some other old clothes he rode for a team last year, but he doesn't. He bought his bike that he's racing on, so he's a true privateer, and he was actually racing with his phone in his pocket in case, because he manages a restaurant.
Yeah. So
in case anyone called from the restaurant, he had his phone in his pocket. I was like, what do you do if you get a call during your race run? I might have to stop.
What a hero. What a fucking hero. But, it's these guys that are, making the races what they are. You would arguably say not making up the numbers, but it's these guys that are putting in the hard yards to get there, right?
Yeah, he's flying at the moment as well. Like, he qualified 16th, so... He's on the live stream. Everyone saw him racing in jeans. It's pretty cool. And I said to him, now you got to keep racing in jeans though.
For sure.
Yeah, and he said, nah. He said he's never going to not race in the jeans now.
Sick. I love it.
And I think Rob Warner was saying in the live feed that the last person to race in jeans was Sean Palmer.
Right.
He had
right.
Fallout with clothing sponsor, so he just wrote Specialized down the side of his jeans and raced like that and got a podium, I think. So
yeah, he did.
That's pretty cool. It's a good thing, Like if you're a privateer and you don't have sponsors, you may as well stand out somehow anyway.
No, I agree.
And,
I agree.
I don't think it's going to make you go slower, but might be warm on the hot day like it was in Leogang.
Yeah, you can always go down jean shorts, I guess.
Yeah,
it really has to get the cut-offs out. There was a few guys, like you said before, who did it in moto as well. I can't remember the guy's name. He rode in pure white race kit for like A1 last year or something like that.
Yeah, I think I can remember that, yeah.
But again, it stands out. Yeah. You're like, fuck, yeah, that's...
Well, may as well stand out if you're a privateer anyway. Like, if you don't have anyone to represent, then represent yourself as you would be.
For sure.
Like, my brother used to race in a leather jacket, and people love that. So, yeah.
Dude, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So, and then that worked for him, He got an image and got a lot of media from that, and then from there, he got sponsors for the next year. So, that's good, yeah.
In fact, something I was going to ask you a little bit later on, I guess, was kind of about standing out. You've got the other stuff going on with like Wyn TV, Wheelie Wednesday. do you feel that riders now have got to go that extra length to make yourself stand out? Do you know what I mean? Because of like social media and YouTube and all that sort of stuff. Is that something that you guys are like really mindful of, always trying to do something different?
Well, I kind of try to do something, might do it my own way on the social media and all the video stuff. So for me, it's pretty important. I think some people don't see it as important, but right now it seems to be the way to go. And then unless you're in the top 10 of your race, then you've got to be standing out somehow. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think it's quite key to keeping a job in this sport.
Yeah, for sure. No, definitely. Yeah. And it's no doubt that's what sponsors are looking for. And it's something that we've, even with our company, spoke about in the past. It's like you instantly go, oh, how many followers have they got? And it's pretty shit, really, that you have to do that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
If if you're looking at it like how much bang for your buck you're going to get, you do look at that. And I'm like always so 50-50, man, with, on the fence with the social media thing. In some respects, I think I'm relatively lucky not to have a huge profile because I think it'd give me crazy anxiety. But is it a bit weird for you? Like, I know you've got a huge social media presence. Like, I think I checked before, so just shy of like 200,000 people.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane. Is it a bit weird sometimes?
Sometimes it's hard to do always good content.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's key to do good content, but sometimes it's pretty hard. Like, it's a lot of work if you're training, racing as well. But so to try and keep like the wheelie videos going every week is pretty hard.
Yeah.
But manage most of the time.
If you got like 200,000 people and put them in one place, do you think you'd be able to get up on stage and like talk to them, or would you just trip out?
I'm not sure. It'd be pretty interesting.
Yeah, fucking man, that's a lot of people.
Yeah, you'll probably be quite nervous to speak in front of 200 guys.
But it's so easy to just like throw up an Instagram photo or whatever it is, right? Like, yeah. Like I said, I don't think I'd be great with that right now. I don't know. Like I love, like, our smaller the podcast stuff's weird because the download figures really don't represent the social media following.
Yeah.
And I often think about that because there's loads of podcasts I listen to where I don't follow it on social media, if that makes sense. But it's like really engaged and it takes up a lot of time, man. Even with our like really small social media following, I always like to reply to everybody. And I know you seem to be the same because I shot you that direct message and I was like, mate, I'm so surprised. Like, you came back to me in like 10 minutes.
Well, it's easier to reply to everyone than have to try and avoid it. And it makes more difference to... Yeah, it makes more difference to reply to someone if they don't send a stupid message.
Yeah.
For a start. But if you reply to them, then they're stoked, and that takes you 2 seconds and it makes their whole week or whatever. So
no, you're right.
I think it's kind of key, and it does take a lot of time, but it's part of the job, I guess.
Yeah.
And sometimes social media, I think, is kind of the devil, but because we spend way too much time on our phone. And I remember back when I started racing, there was no smartphone.
I know, right?
Like, all we'd be doing, you'd send a text message to someone. Like, there was none of that. We weren't checking Instagram every 5 minutes to see what's happened.
No.
And sometimes you should focus on what's actually happening, but I think it's just part of the job. And some days I'll just put the post up and then put the phone back,
Post and drop.
Try to do that more now. It's hard though. You get attached to your phone.
Definitely, man. And like I say, surely with that sort of profile that you're playing with, like, there's a lot of people, and I bet it can become quite addictive because you're going to get so much more, you're going to get a lot of reward from it, right? Like, especially with what you've just done as well with launching the privateer fund, you've always got people saying positive things. It can become quite addictive. Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
I bet.
But no, it's good. It's something I would have wanted when I was a privateer, so why not set it up now? And then hopefully from here we can just build it. Yeah.
I heard a quote ages ago, something along the lines of, people used to use social media to get away from life. Now we use life to get away from social media.
Yeah,
It's pretty true though, right?
yeah. Sometimes it's good to focus on real life rather than social media. But yeah.
I was thinking too, obviously, you know, when you've set up this fund for the privateers, you know, a lot of this stuff must have really resonated with you and the way you came up into the sport, right? So if you could you like just rewind things a little bit and talk about, you know, how you know, where did you grow up? You grew up in
New Plymouth,
New
Zealand, yeah.
New Plymouth, New Zealand. So do you remember a time when you first saw mountain bikes and what made you initially gravitate towards the sport?
Well, I don't even remember where. I think my cousin had a mountain bike and he painted it with spray paint, and I thought it was pretty cool. So, from there we wanted a mountain bike, and my brother as well.
Yeah,
we're both always biking in our backyard, and then I pretty much went straight to mountain biking. Didn't do BMX. My brother did a little bit of BMX, and then we just did they had a lot of small local races. They'd pretty much be down through paddocks and stuff like that, but not really. But they'd be called a downhill race. And then, so we'd go to those. My brother would race on BMX sometimes as well. So it was pretty good. And then we just built heaps of jumps in our backyard, and they got bigger and bigger and went from there.
Right. Your parents supportive of the whole thing?
My mum was disappointed that we wanted to sell our pony to buy a mountain bike.
Oh, yeah, dude, I remember now.
Yeah.
Fuck, I just remembered I had Eddie on the podcast. Wow, that'd been over 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. Yeah, and I remember he talked about having horses and family really wanted you guys to be into horses.
We used to go to show jumping and events, so yeah. But then we realised that bikes were more for us, so there weren't many guys at those events. So yeah.
What are your parents like? I'm kind of, the reason I ask that is because the sort of brothers and like twins and stuff that I know, you usually get like one really shy one and one like the opposite, kind of loud and confident.
Yeah.
Whereas you two are really similar.
Yeah. Wow. In some ways, yeah.
Yeah, in some ways. That's how it comes across, anyway, right? Like, that's what from the outside looking in, like that's what comes across. So, are you, like, I don't know, are your parents kind of not like that, but you know what I mean, like?
Yeah, they're pretty relaxed and pretty social. So,
okay.
Our house has always got heaps of people coming and going. We always had like exchange students, and now they're like Airbnb. There's always people at our house.
Really? Right.
So always meeting people, talking to people, and now that my parents are currently in the Himalayas, they're biking through there for my mum's 70th birthday. So it's pretty cool. They're pretty out there as well. They do go all over the world and do heaps of crazy trips. So
really,
pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's where the confidence and the character comes from. Then I guess is all the way back to those guys.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But I was talking to a guy yesterday who wanted me to 100% ask you about part of growing up and this penguin.
Oh yeah, Jason.
Huh?
Jason the penguin.
Yeah, I didn't know it had a name, but yeah, tell me about Jason the penguin.
Oh well, we had a dog when we were younger, and we were at the beach, and he caught a penguin. It didn't. He I think it died from shock.
Okay.
Because it didn't have he didn't bite it and stuff. He just had it in his mouth.
Right. But so this is in New Zealand, right?
In New Zealand, yeah. So
there's penguins.
Occasionally, I haven't seen recently, but occasionally you get penguins, and you get them at some of the beaches, but not normally where we live.
Okay.
So we got a penguin, and then what do we do? We were very young, so I don't even know, maybe 5 or 7 or so.
Okay.
And we took it home, put it in the freezer in a bread bag.
Right.
And it just lived in there for the next 15 or probably 15 to 20 years. Yeah.
No way.
I think
how big are we
15.
talking? Like how big's a penguin? To put it in a freezer.
He fit, like a normal loaf of bread. He'd fit just in that, and you'd just get the top over his head.
Right. Okay.
But it was a good penguin, yeah. And then one day, I did a video, like one of my first early videos that I made, like of myself riding and mucking around in New Plymouth. And at the end of it, we put the penguin in there, and like we'd had a few beers, and here's Jace the penguin. Pull him out of the. See you next week, Jace. Put him back in the freezer, and then someone complained to the Department of Conservation that I had a penguin in my freezer. So I got a phone call from Department of Conservation.
Yeah.
And they wanted to come and impound him.
No way.
So they wanted to, they were very angry. They're quite angry about it because it was like, I was like, well, we've had it for 15 years, so it's not like... And I think they just wanted to put it in their freezer for a display.
Yeah.
But, So they took it away, and then it was a bit of a sad day. One of the family members departing almost...
Yeah. Fucking hell, 15 years, man. That's a long time to keep a frozen penguin in the freezer.
Well, he was in good condition, eh?
Oh, I bet it's in tip-top condition.
Just sitting below my parents' wedding cake.
That's classic, man. That's classic. So growing up then, man, must have been like super fun having parents who keep penguins in freezers and...
Yeah, there's always something going on at our house that's a bit crazy, but it's good time, mate.
Cool.
Yeah.
Who did you ride with then back in the day? Mainly Eddie, or was there other people in New Plymouth?
Yeah, there was heaps of like quite a big crew of guys like between 5 or 7 years and more older.
Right.
So we'd always ride with them, and that was like probably the best thing we could have ever done. So you're just learning every time, and you see what they're doing, just end up copying the whole time.
Yeah.
And that kind of died out, and then we went off. Like I first went off to boarding school, and then Eddie came to the same school. So then I met Sam Blinkertop there, and we just ride pretty much every day.
Right. What was how come you went off to boarding school though? Because that's
my parents believe that in New Plymouth we wouldn't have got the education we needed, and probably end up with the wrong crowd, and I could see that could be possible. And actually, at the start, like I was super angry. Mm-hmm. I think I even punched my hand through a window because I didn't want to go.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
So then I was like 11 or 12 or something, and having to, being a teenager.
Yeah.
But then we went there, and actually Wanganui, it's 2 hours from New Plymouth. It was way better for, like, from there was when the New Plymouth Mountain Bike Club was dying down a bit, and Wanganui took off for downhill.
Okay.
So we'd pretty much ride downhill most weekends and like shuttle days.
Right. And that was like part of the school thing. Like, is that what you mean?
Not with the school, but in the same place. So like, because I went to that school, I could ride downhill all the time, and we did all the time. Like with Sam as well, we'd always be riding. So it was pretty good. And there was an old guy, Charles, that set up the club there, and he was running these shuttle days. And pretty much so much talent came out of that because of that guy, one guy just making it happen. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So Blanky was at the same school too?
Not at his school was across the road.
Oh, right.
And we're at the Flash private school. Yeah.
What was it like though, man, being in private school? Good experience, bad experience? Do you think life would have gone in a different direction had you not gone there?
Yeah, maybe I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now if I didn't go there, but then I couldn't see that when I was that age.
Yeah.
But I think for my mountain biking, it was good, but I more hang out with people outside of the school rather than at the school because it was like everyone at the school plays rugby or cricket,
Right. Yeah.
So
sort of like your thing.
But I made
there,
lots
right?
of friends there. Yeah.
Ooh.
So it's like quite proper school. Made lots of friends out of the school, so it was kind of good.
Yeah.
And then I got like signed up to my first pretty much professional contract when I was like 15.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, who was that with?
was quite lucky. Like Laha Bikes, it's a New Zealand company. If you haven't seen it, then search it up. Cam Cole won a junior world title on one.
Oh, right. Okay.
And then, so they had this big investor, and I got put on as like the under 17 rider, but we just travel around for all the national races in New Zealand in a van with 2 other guys that were racing at the top level, and a mechanic, a team manager, and just like pretty much unlimited expenses. So it was pretty crazy to go straight to that when I was that young.
Yeah.
And then a lot of the races we travelled without a parent, so it was kind of quite good as well.
Like a learning experience as well.
Yeah. Like and also going to boarding school probably helped quite a lot, because you become pretty independent pretty quickly. You have to.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll struggle later on, and I think that was pretty good.
Yeah, definitely with like what you do now, with being so just out in the world, traveling, you know, different countries, all that sort of stuff. Definitely. And I had quite a similar experience as well. Like I moved to the States when I was 16, and you know, how old are you?
32 now.
Oh, same as me then.
Yeah.
So I'm 32. So, you know, that age, even back then, you know, there was no social media, there was none of that shit. You had to like just fend for yourself a little bit. Do you know, like you could send a text message, you couldn't do anything.
Or a phone call,
Yeah, you had to actually call people.
But it's expensive.
Yeah, exactly. You had to go get those phone cards. Do you remember those things?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, get a phone card and put it in the machine.
Yeah, to do all that. But it was such a big learning curve that you just like thrown in at the deep end. And you know, that's almost like your formative years as well, like 15, 16, 17, learning to even like learning to talk to girls. Like I've spoke about that before on here. It's a huge thing. You know, you can't just swipe left, swipe right. You actually have to go and talk to people.
Yeah, it's changed a lot, the way the world works with social media and phones and stuff.
And it's, I think we're kind of lucky because we've seen like without it.
Both sides,
We've seen both sides, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, definitely formative years, like going out and just throwing yourself into the deep end, even if it's within the same country as well, like yourself. You're just out, you're away from your parents, you're out of your comfort zone a little bit, right?
There was some pretty loose times as well.
Oh yeah.
when I was 14 or 15, but because I'd be with like the team they're racing, they'd be like probably from 24 to 30, and then it'd just be a big party after the race, and it was a good time.
Yeah, I bet. And
but I think those moments are key for when you're young as well. Otherwise, you eventually go back to that when you're older.
Definitely, I agree.
And I don't think you need. I think you got to live that as well.
So did you? After like the boarding school stuff, did you do university, college, anything like that, or did you just break?
No, so that team thing only lasted like 1 year, and then we spent all the investors' money, so it just pretty much finished, and that was it.
Made him broke.
Yeah, pretty much. He was. I don't think. Yeah, we spent a lot of money anyway. Like it was pretty crazy how we could spend the money. It was like. For me, I was like 14 or 15, and you go to like Subway and order whatever you want. I was like so excited about that.
Yeah.
Just eating Subway sandwiches for a month straight or something.
Never worrying about the foot long or the half foot or whatever it is, 6 inch.
But from there, then that finished, and then had to get like a bike together and keep racing the New Zealand series. Did a couple of races in Australia, and then like I never made it to Europe as a junior, which is kind of like I'm not sure if I would have succeeded then or not.
Okay.
But I probably should have gone, but it was good to go there knowing a bit more later on. So I didn't go to Europe racing until I was over 20.
Right, okay.
I think 2021.
Yeah. So did you say you did some like Aussie stuff, and that was all that self-funded as well?
Yeah, my dad helped me a bit to go to do some races in Australia, which is quite good. Like to get to know some of the guys over there as well, but never made it to Europe.
Okay. Out of interest, then, was Eddie doing a similar sort of thing as you? Was it like a family affair?
He would just do the New Zealand series, and not too. he didn't really do too much more than that.
Right.
And then he went off to university. I didn't go to do that. I moved to Australia to work so I could make some money to go and race in Europe.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So,
because
go on.
Like a labouring job in New Zealand would pay very low, and that's all I was doing.
Yeah.
And in Australia, you could actually make some money doing it. So it was like the only way I could really make it happen was to go there and do a bit of work for like a couple of years, and then went over to Europe and had a crack.
Okay. So just to go back a little bit then. So did you already know that, having ridden some of the Aussie and New Zealand nationals, that there was a career potentially there for you?
I always knew that's what I wanted to do.
Okay.
But wasn't sure what sort of career it would be.
Right. Who are you looking up to at that point then? Like, who was like I want to be like this?
Yeah, we had John Kikordi in New Zealand.
Okay.
And Nathan Rankin.
Oh, right.
And Nathan Rankin was actually on the team when I was 15, so I saw him then, and he had also been doing a lot of racing in America and always had like nice cars and stuff, so I was like, oh, he must do well, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and that's way before the filmmaking stuff then?
Yeah.
Wow. Huh. I didn't know that about him.
So,
that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh. So you knew there was a career to be had, just not entirely sure how to make it happen. So moved to Australia to get some work in.
Yeah, moved to Australia, and then I knew one guy there, so he put me on to another guy, and I pretty much had a job starting the next day, and I had to I moved to Cairns, had to catch a bus to the south, and then living in this like tiny farming town.
All right.
And working on like a nursery and landscaping. They owned a nursery, and then they do landscaping during the day.
Okay.
So we go and then we take the plants from the nursery and they had a downhill track actually on the farm.
No way. Huh.
Because the guy he's an old friend of McKenna.
Okay.
And he had to go at racing before I got there already. So he'd had to go, but he had a downhill track on his farm. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
We didn't ever really have any time to ride. Yeah. We just worked. Out, like, from dark to dark every day.
Really?
Yeah. And they'll put the car lights on so we can keep working.
Okay. Gnarly.
But I was kind of happy because I was like making good or like saving a lot of money.
Yeah. So the goal was to save enough money to then go to Europe and do World Cups.
Have a go at racing. Yeah.
And at that point, did you have to qualify at all to do a World Cup, or could you just go
you had to have UCI points, maybe 20, but that's easy to get in New Zealand and Australia with Oceania champs and national champs.
Okay, got you.
So you can get that. Yeah.
It's interesting that, man. Like, you'd already sort of planning out how to get there, you know what I mean? And like prepared to sacrifice a couple of years of life to make it happen. Is that kind of how you're looking at it?
Kind of had to, yeah. Like, I would save everything I made, like, because I lived in a caravan on their farm. And didn't have anything to spend money on apart from food.
Yeah.
So just works generally 7 days a week there.
No way. It's
and I don't really like working now. Like working like that, I'm not even interested. Like, I think because I did that already.
Yeah, burnt out on it. I did some work as well in Australia doing the oil refinery shutdowns.
Yeah, I did something like that with mining shutdown.
Yeah. We had the option of going and doing that as well. Actually, I can't remember where it was, but we decided not to do it. So I headed to Australia at about, I was probably, I think 20, 21, and the plan was to race the Australian National Downhill Championship. Like that was the plan.
Yep.
But we ended up getting this job on a shutdown, which was like a 3-month job. And the money just worked. Like, the money was that good. I was like, well, we can't really turn this down. It would be stupid to just not do it. So we ended up. I did one of the nationals at where was it? Thredbo, maybe.
Yeah, Thredbo.
Yeah, did a national there at Thredbo. But other than that, just worked 7 days, like 12-hour days, But
I do some of the Cairns local races, but that'd be it. And I eventually moved to Cairns because the guy Miles who was running the business moved it to Cairns because they're lot bigger up there, and
okay.
I think he still just works like that.
To be honest, like looking back, I kind of liked the idea of doing like 3 months on, 3 months off, and that's pretty much what we did. But it turned into 6 months on, 3 months off.
You don't have any time off.
Exactly, that's kind of what happened.
So I got the mine job because I just called. I saw it in the paper, so I just called up, and then they said, "Yeah, come down." And then I told my boss that I was going to visit family in New Zealand and went and worked in the mines for a few weeks because we do these shutdown jobs. It'd be shut down at each different mine, and we just do the fixing the rock crushing machine.
Yeah.
We just replace the inside of it. And so I'd have like these on-call jobs. They'd just call me up and say, "Oh, this is coming up in a few weeks. Do you want to go on it?"
Right.
And then I just have to spin some yarn to my boss that I'm going away. And then go and work more.
Wow.
And work way more there as well. So, but we actually did a job in Indonesia as well, which is pretty cool.
That's sick. Dude, it's crazy money as well. I mean, that was insane money. I can't, I remember being...
Well, for them, it's insane,
Yeah, and you just why are you paying me this amount of money? It makes absolutely no sense. I'm, $150 to stand here and watch somebody in a hole. It makes no sense at all. But
it was...
Yeah. Take it.
But it was good. I could save a lot.
Yeah.
And that allowed me to be able to race. So.
Okay.
Yep.
So what other jobs, man? Like what else did you get up to?
We did it in that Indonesia one. There was a big gold mine on the island.
Yeah. And
man, there's some big pieces of gold in there, but they have metal detectors on the gates.
So really?
It's pretty crazy.
Sneak one out. The old fake gold tooth coming out.
And the locals, they couldn't speak any English, but we get sent there to kind of help work with them, like supervising.
Okay.
All they could speak was like Valentino Rossi or, they just knew MotoGP, nothing else.
Really?
Yeah. But they'd be pretty funny guys. Yeah, it was good to work with them. Like they'd organize because we do night shift, and they'd organize who can sleep. So one person gets to sleep like an hour every hour, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then you rotate it around.
Fucking hell. One of the jobs I did was I think the technical term for it was hull watcher. So somebody would go in a huge metal tank, and you just literally sit outside all day and just every hour you go, "Are you all right, mate?" And they go, "Yeah," and you just that's it. All right.
Yeah.
And you just sit there all day. But we used to do the same. So somebody would go in there, have a sleep, come out, then we exchange, keep changing over who could sleep through the night. It's cool, man.
Most of the time, pretty hard work. You're just lifting bits of metal out of this crushing machine, and if it's a bigger one, then you have to hook it up with crane. Mm-hmm. But it's very simple and quite hard.
Yeah, exactly. No, I feel you. Did, like I say, quite a similar experience there, I think.
But the day goes fast because you're always busy, kind of. So
and you beat at night as well. So you sleep, wake up, do the same thing the next day, and it's just rinse and repeat.
And the Indonesia one actually had a golf course, so you could play the driving range when you got home in the morning and then go to sleep.
Sweet. But I think it's good as well because you experience maybe I don't want to do this for the rest of my life.
No way. So I did a lot of jobs in New Zealand as well, like a lot of crappy jobs, and that's the best thing I could have done.
For sure.
To know what I want to do and then put everything into what I want to do.
It's a big lesson, that, man, for sure. So what do you do then? So you just saved up a pot of cash and just headed off to the World Cups.
I think I had $11,000 or $12,000 raised. Not that much, but I had to buy my bike. So for a start, bought my bike, got a second-hand Iron Horse Sunday, but it was beautiful. Off a guy that had hardly ridden it, so it was pretty fresh, one of the green ones.
Yeah.
But I'd already ridden it I also raced in New Zealand the National Series before I left, so I would fly back from Australia and then to do that and then go back. And then I knew one guy in Portugal for a friend of mine, Mike Skinner.
Okay.
And so I flew to Portugal. This one guy, he picked me up and stayed at his house. And we went to they used to have the season opener race in Gouveia.
Okay.
And we went there 2008, in March, I think.
2008, okay, right.
So it's pretty early to arrive in Europe.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that, so I was just like, that race sounds good, I'll go there. Went there, had no plan, and met another guy, Alex Evans. He's a UK guy.
Yeah.
And got a lift to the next 3 races. We went to a race in Spain, France. 2 races, I think. No, one more in Portugal, one in Spain, one in France, and then I just sleep in his van, and he had a tent. So,
jeez,
I didn't have any plan. I just went from there and tried to talk to as many people and get a lift or do whatever and work it out from there. And I was so surprised how expensive the tolls were because we don't have tolls in New Zealand, Australia.
Right.
Like, they're hardly a thing there. So I was like, what the hell? Like, I had to pay all the tolls, and I was like, damn, this is expensive.
Didn't budget for this.
Yeah, it wasn't in my budget.
You know what, though, man? What it's got me thinking is, so, like, you're looking at going over and being a mountain bike rider and making a living, but, like, what was the goal? I mean, who are you looking at and thinking, I want to be like that? Because it's quite a big sacrifice, right? So you've pretty much at this point sacrificed a couple of years of your life. You've got a pot of money.
Yeah.
Like, are you looking at it as like, right, I'm going to go and not be a millionaire. That's, but
No.
I'm kind of like trying to put myself in that headspace of being like, what are you aiming for? Like, what is the goal? Is it just
I
a
didn't
ride?
even know what a top rider would make, so I had no idea.
Right.
But it just looked like a good life.
Yeah.
Like, you're racing your bike and doing what you wanted to do. So I just saw like top guys from New Zealand or Australia, like maybe Nathan Rennie. It's a good example.
Yeah.
Like, until I listened to his podcast. I don't know if you listened to it.
I haven't actually. The Vital one.
It's a real good one.
Yeah.
That one's recommended for sure.
I will check that out, actually. It's been on the list for a while, but I've just never got around to that.
For a lot of his career, he wasn't making what it seemed, but from the outside looking in, it looked real good, like, So I was like, see that and see what they're doing, and I was like, yeah, I want to do that.
Okay.
So let's go and have a go and see what happens. I didn't know if it can even happen,
Yeah. So what were those first, like, what was that first year like getting into Europe, dude?
It was hard for sure. Like, I never had any plans, so I just talked to everyone. But that was like also the best way to do it. Because I had to meet everyone.
Okay.
Otherwise, I had no ride to the next race or nowhere to stay. So, like, normally you'd go now and you'd buy a van, which is a good way as well.
Yeah.
But I didn't have anyone to go with or do that, so
I
just went by myself and, like, had a bag and kind of winged it.
Dude. Was Eddie there as well at this point? Like, were you...
No, he was at school, so he was studying.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you literally was in Europe, like, on your own, just trying to wing this thing, man.
Yeah, and so I met Jason Marsh he's a mechanic for Syndicate now.
Yeah.
I met him through Alex and stayed with him in Morzine.
Okay.
And he helped me a lot, like, at the races, because he was working for another team, so he'd help try and get my bike going, make sure it's working, and then like, without that sort of help, I probably would have been stuffed. Like, I'd just be racing probably with no chain or whatever, like.
Yeah.
By the end of the whole thing, like, my bike had no, like, the spider on the cranks all snapped off.
Right.
So I just had no cranks, no derailleur, no shifter, and I'd just ride, like, every day in Morzine like that.
Really?
Yeah. And my frame was cracked when I arrived. So.
What, the iron holes?
Around the head tube.
Okay.
And it was, like, reasonable cracks on both sides. And then I managed to talk to the Iron Horse team and annoy them enough that they got to send out a frame for me, and then it got lost. So that was like the worst thing. I was like so stoked to get a new frame, but it never came.
Fuck. So you rode that thing all year or what?
Yeah, I rode it all year like that. When I went back to Australia, because they had a World Cup in Canberra.
Yeah.
Before the World Champs the next year. So when I went back to Cairns, someone at the airport welded it up for me.
No way.
And then it had big gussets on it for the World Cup, yeah.
Dude, this is the stuff though that nobody really gets to see, like all this shit that was going on behind the scenes, like.
No, and there was another. There's quite a few stories from this season, but yeah,
Oh,
I don't know
great.
how long you want to talk for.
Oh man,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Like, give us your best one. Come on, what else happened, dude?
Well, Maribor was my first World Cup.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how it would go or anything, so I was like, okay. And I think I crashed like halfway down
In the race,
because I was qualifying.
Oh,
In the qualifying. Okay. So I was pretty nervous, and then crashed halfway down, and then I just rolled down, and I think I just missed out. So I was like quite annoyed at the same time, where I could have probably got in, but I cruised down because I thought I wouldn't make it anyway.
okay.
So I got quite drunk afterwards,
Yeah.
as you do.
Win or lose.
And yeah, there's a picture somewhere with me and Danny Hart. It's
Really?
pretty funny. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and like Danny's not drinking, of course. He was very young, but he's laughing with me about something.
Amazing.
And so it turned into like quite a big night.
Yeah.
And then I stole a policeman's hat. We had like this big game of frisbee with the hat.
You and who?
and
The,
the bar.
policeman?
No, everyone in the
everyone
bar. So it
else,
started
right.
going around in circles in the bar, and the policeman was chasing around.
Right.
That's like one of my vivid memories. Anyway, the next morning, like that, after the race, I'd ask Pagey from CRC
Yeah.
if he could take my bike for me back to Mozzie. And then the next morning, of course, I didn't remember to ask him to remind him. So I thought, he knows. And got a lift back to Mozzie, which is like 12 hours drive, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Got back there and then went to see him the next day. And my bike, he's like, oh, no, we don't have it. I was like, you joking? No, I'm not joking. I was like, what? So my bike was still in Maribor. And then it was like a whole day.
Sending text messages.
Yeah, no, I think I was on Marshy's laptop just trying to work out how, because I didn't have a laptop yet either.
Right.
Trying to work out how I can get back there and what's the cheapest way.
Fuck.
And there was no way that was like going to be actually cheap. Well, for me, cheap anyway.
Yeah.
Like, because
Cheap meant cheap, right? Back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Marshy dropped me like at the next village up the road from Aussie, I think. And I started hitchhiking.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Did you get there?
Eventually, yeah, but it was like I had a backpack.
Like a month later.
No, it took like 3 days.
Jeez.
But I had a backpack that had like all my gear. So it's really, really heavy, and I had like shitty skate shoes.
Right.
And it involved a lot of walking.
Jeez, dude.
Like when I ride, my feet were fucked up.
What were you thinking though? Are you thinking I need to go back to New Zealand or Australia and just get one of those jobs
I was
again?
kind of a bit upset at the time.
I bet.
Because no one spoke English, so I could hardly speak to anyone. But all I could do was just point. I had a map, and I could just point somewhere in the direction. Then they say, "Oh yeah, well." And one guy pulled up on an old, clapped out like motorbike, like a farm motorbike, pretty much, like dirt tires and everything, with a purple mohawk in Italy. And then he told me to get on because he saw my full face helmet hanging off my bag.
Right.
Because I had like a massive tramping pack that had all my gear.
Why do you take all your kit with you out of interest? Like you think?
Oh, because from there, like when I this is like I was like, well, what can I do now if I'm going all the way back there? Then I went to Austria to do a race.
Ah, okay.
So it was a train ride to Austria, and it wasn't too far.
Okay.
And then I met some other people and went to a race with them. So I was like, the whole thing was pretty crazy.
Fucking hell.
And I got there and I was at the bike park. So like when I got to the hotel, the guy was like surprised to see me. And my bike had like the seat down. And his son had been riding, I think. And then, so I went and rode. I was like, yeah, I'll take it back. But I had to pay him I owed him €20 for doing my washing because I was like, that price for me then was extortionate. So I wasn't paying that. I disagreed with the price. And then I had to pay it in the end anyway, get my bike back.
Dude.
And then I went to the bike park to do some riding and met one guy there, and he took me to his house and I could stay with him. I think he paid for my dinner as well because he was like, this guy, like, he felt sorry for me.
No one would believe that story either if you were like, I just hitchhiked from Morsey to get here to pick my bike up.
Yeah, you couldn't believe it, yeah. And it was a massive walk, like a lot of walking. So my feet were like swollen because I had real bad shoes, like shitty old skate shoes.
Jeez, that's some story, man.
It was pretty interesting anyway. And then I got my bike and went to the race in Austria. And I think it was national champs, I think. I think I got 4th.
Right.
And I got like €120 prize money. I was like so stoked, you know.
Yeah. Jeez. You know, if at Maribor, for example, if you did qualify, is there much of a financial incentive as far as qualifying and just missing out?
No, you get nothing.
Yeah. So it doesn't. So on the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter anyway, other than teams or whatever seeing that.
Yeah, sponsorship possibly for the next year, but you don't get anything if you qualify.
No.
So yeah, I was like pretty gutted not to qualify, but then I had a good time anyway. But then left my bike behind.
Amazing.
But
amazing.
Yeah, the trip to Austria, and then I think we had the next race in Andorra, and I crashed again in qualifying, but I knew that I had to pin it to the bottom, and then I qualified like, I think 40 something.
Sweet.
Or 50.
Yeah.
So I was like, sweet, and it used to be top 80.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, sweet, and then in the race I got 30 seconds, so I was happy with that.
Fuck yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Was that a bit of a turning point as well, or did it continue going relatively average for the rest of the year?
From there, it was all good, yeah.
Really?
Well, there was more drama in Andorra, but I don't know if we want to get into that story as well, but yeah.
It's up to you, mate. Whatever. Whatever. I'm good. We're chilling.
Well, yeah, I ended up at the after party in Andorra.
Yeah.
They had like a big wall, and Nathan Rankin was doing Cedric was doing big stage dives, and Nathan Rankin, he tried to do a backflip off it. He's like the Kiwi rider.
Okay.
He tried to do a backflip off it, and everyone saw him coming feet first and just moved out of the way.
Right.
And then so he landed straight on his head, got like knocked out like on pavement, real bad.
Yeah.
And then I was like trying to help him, but like I wasn't that drunk. But the police put like a tape around him, like he's dead, and he started like freaking out because he wakes up and all these people can't speak English.
Whoa.
And so I was trying to help under the tape, and then one of them like grabbed me by the throat, so I just pushed him back and like said fuck off or whatever.
Yeah.
Like then they all came for me afterwards. Like what, they put him in the ambulance, took him away.
Yeah.
They all came for me, the cops, and I was like, oh. And they just like in a group like beating me pretty much.
Really?
Yeah, beating me up, and it was pretty scary.
Yeah, I bet.
Around the corner from the party, so only a few people saw it. But one of these guys, Eric Ermisch, he's like a German rider. He saw it, and so when they put me in the car, it was child lock, but I didn't. I tried to open it, but it wouldn't open. He came and opened it. Then I made a run for it and tripped over, like on the curb, because I was just like stressing. And then they just came in with batons.
Oh fuck! Wow.
And it was pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
Then they handcuffed me like real tight, like cut my wrists. And one guy was just punching me in the head, like coming around this. Like I put my knees up on one side so he'd come from the other side.
Yeah.
It was pretty scary.
Jeez, dude.
And then I was like, oh, what's going to happen here? Like, they're going to take me away and bash me up?
Yeah,
or
in a
what?
concrete cell. Like.
So they took me to the cell and put me in there, and then they said, you can stay. You stay until the morning, and then in the morning I was like, I need to get out. It's my flight. They're like, no. And then I had to go like this hearing with like a translator, and then they're like, you insulted the police, and we fine you, I think it was 600, I was like, I don't have any money on me. And they're like, okay, well, they write down on this piece of paper, put the money in this account.
All right.
I'm like, okay, yeah, within 2 weeks or you will have problem. I was like, okay, yep, sweet, out I go. But I missed my flight already.
Right.
And then I just got the bus back to the town. Already, Jason had come to try and get me out.
Mm-hmm.
But so I was like, just take all my gear to Fort William because it was next race.
Right.
And leave my passport at the hotel. So he left my passport, and that's all I had was my wallet and my passport and the clothes that I was wearing at the party. And I got a bus back up to the town.
Yeah.
And then I met 2 Kiwi guys that were privateering as well, and they were staying in another place, and then they were going the next day. So I was like, I booked on with their flight,
Sweet.
and they had a budget flight as well. And then we stayed at Glasgow Airport the night.
Right. What, in the airport?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Under the thing, and then got the bus to Fort William. And then I met Bernard because the bus stops like next to the supermarket. Bernard Kerr was at the supermarket, so I was like, get a lift with you, and then stayed with him for the race. So it all worked out in the end. But I walked the track in Fort William on the Wednesday in the clothes that I was wearing at the party on Sunday. Yeah,
dude. I bet you got so many of these stories. It's crazy.
more from that season, yeah.
Yeah.
But then the next races, I think I got 30 something in Fort William. Then I did World Champs in Val di Sole, got 25th, and then the final World Cup I did was in Canberra,
right?
And I got 25th as well.
Sweet.
That was after going back and welding up my bike.
Yeah.
But yeah,
was that then a bit of a turning point? When did you go on the Bulls team? Was that the year after?
No, that's a while after.
Oh, is it?
First,
right.
Then that's 2013.
Oh wow.
So then I met Italian guy, and they make Ancelotti bikes. I don't know if you know.
Oh yeah. Were you on that with Brooke? Yeah.
So they're a family-run, out of their garage, pretty much bike company. And at Fort William, I saw them there, and they had a couple of Italian riders, I think. And then they saw that I got 30 something, and I'm not sure if Brooke got somewhere as well, maybe in the 50. And then they're like, yeah, maybe next year we consider some New Zealand riders and talk to them. And then from there, that went into being a proper deal, really.
Really? Was that like your first?
Not paid or anything, but
yeah,
we had support. They took us to the races. They paid the entries, gave us food, and we had a place to stay in the middle of Tuscany, this ski resort, Doganaccia.
Right.
And they had a restaurant there, and we just lived there in the summer and just trained.
Amazing.
So it was like a 9-minute track there, and we just trained there every day.
Right. That must have been a huge weight off, though, just getting bikes and...
that was massive.
Support, yeah.
Like from there, like I probably owe a lot to them for giving us a chance, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you wouldn't keep going like how I was doing it for a long time.
No, how long do you reckon you could sustain that? Maybe another year, maybe, or
year
not?
or two, yeah, and then you'd be pretty over it, like because I came home with zero, or actually owing €1,000, I think, when I came home, and I saved for ages before going, and then you just go straight back to work, you know.
Yeah, I think I read actually. I can't remember where it was. Like maybe an interview on Dirt Mag in 2009 that you'd spent like 10 grand that year on flights. Like, it's fucking lot of money, man, isn't it?
Yeah. But especially then too, it's less now, but then it's even more, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
But it worked out, and then I got a chance to ride for Ancelotti, and then from there it went pretty well. So
how long were you on Ancelotti for?
1 season, and then I rode for another Italian team, Playbiker.
Okay, yeah. With the German sponsor as well. No,
Lapierre. They had Lapierre and Kenda.
Okay, right.
Yeah, and it was Italian team, and Brayton rode for it 1 year as well.
Okay.
He rode the year before I rode, so. And I think it was me and Sean O'Connor and Nathan Rankin.
Right.
Yeah, and then I lived in Aosta and riding Pela every day, so it's quite good.
Dropped on with a few of these locations, man, I think. So it always works out, right? Always.
Yeah.
So when did it become more of a living, would you say?
Not until I rode for bulls, really. Like, it would have been when I rode for MS. I rode for MS Evil in 2011.
Okay.
But I had quite a gnarly injury.
Yeah, I was going to say 11 was when you got hurt.
Yeah, like I broke my arm at a national race in New Zealand, and everything was going real good before that. So I was like on the way up, everything was going well, and I think like I'd won the qualifying at the first national race and got on the podium, so I was like happy. Riding for Wide Open, like a New Zealand distributor, just for the New Zealand season, so it was quite good. And then I just had like a crash in Nelson national round and put my arm, like banged it on straight onto a rock and it just snapped it.
All right.
And like compound fracture, so I kept falling as well, and it kept tumbling, and it went in the dirt and then out of the dirt and then back of my arm. Yeah. So it was like worst case because it was real hard to clean, and then they didn't clean it enough, and then it got infected. They had to do the surgery all again after a week, like because I started feeling like I was gonna pass out.
Yeah, because of the infection.
Fuck. And then they did it all again, and then the doctor was like way too optimistic because in New Zealand we have a very good system with ACC. It's like accident compensation.
Okay.
They pay your income. They pay all your medical costs. You get 80% of your income back.
Okay.
And it's you pay it with your tax.
Right. Oh, that's cool.
Okay. So it's quite good.
Yeah.
But they always want you to get back quicker than later.
Of course.
So I said, how's it looking after 11 weeks? And I'd already had like complication at the start. And he's like, yeah, it's fully healed. You're good to go. So I was like, okay. And I go racing. I'd already been racing quite a few races in Europe.
Yeah.
Like, I think I did all right. Like, considering what I was coming off, like, because I didn't know it then. Like, I thought, oh, yeah, this is not too bad, you know?
Yeah.
But really, my arm was like, it's still quite smoked now.
Really?
But like, so then I go back to Europe and did like 4 or 5 races. And then I was racing in Fort William in my race run and just hit a hole. Like, I told the doctor that it had been quite painful, and he said it will be because you haven't used it. So I was like, okay, well, you believe him because he's a surgeon.
He's a doctor.
Yeah. He should know everything.
Yeah.
Now I know a bit more. Not to trust everyone, but yeah, you have to learn.
Yeah.
So I was in my race run and just put it into like a hole, and it bent my arm, like the plate's fully bent.
Fuck.
So I was like, I knew right then and there that it was bad, like, because it went crack, like, could hear it, kind of the noise, and so my arm was like broken again, but I still finished the run. I think I was like 50th or something, but I was like, okay, and then went to Leo Gang. I was like, well, what can we do? I may as well just ride because it can't get worse.
Yeah.
So I was just like gritting my teeth the whole weekend, just go off any drops, but I still qualified, so I was like, sweet. And I think I got 60th in the final or something, but there was 80 riders, so I was like, all right. Then I was like, I have to go home and get this sorted. Like, there's nothing I can do. The X-ray shows that my arm is broken, you know.
Yeah.
So I had to go home and then wait for surgery because through the public system it takes longer.
Right.
Then I just go around with this bent arm, and everyone's like, you need to get that looked at, man. I'm like, it didn't really hurt unless I was like trying to ride with
doing something, yeah.
Yeah. So it really hurt afterwards, yeah.
I think that's one of those things as well when you're a privateer or you just start on the come up. You'll ride like that because you got to, right? Like there's no fallback.
If you're putting everything yourself to do it,
yeah,
then you will do it, you know. And then so I was meant to get a salary and stuff from them, but then I couldn't complete the season, so they gave me my bike, I think, and then that was it. Yeah. So that was it, riding for them. Then the next year I still had injuries as well.
Right.
Like I just came right from all of that. Like it was a whole year pretty much that I missed.
Yeah.
I did a few races in Europe, but that was it. Just came right, and then I was riding actually with Sven Martin.
Okay.
And my handlebar snapped.
No way.
Yeah.
And
I broke my scaphoid.
Oh, that's the worst as well. Takes ages. Yeah.
Yeah, and then of course the same surgeon was like, yeah, it'll heal without surgery.
Oh, fucking hell.
And I didn't know. So I was like, yeah, okay, I believe you. And then it never healed. And then I went to Europe to race, but I couldn't because it never healed.
Really, that thing takes ages anyway, doesn't it? Like that's a good 6 months, probably 5-6 months, because no blood passes that bone. So it takes ages.
Started dying, then they had to do like a bone graft with a new blood supply to it.
Right.
And yeah, it was another year gone.
And at this point, then, like, you're not earning much of a salary.
Yeah, I just worked when I had a cast on and stuff. Like, do whatever I could, painting houses or whatever. Yeah, like I still work, but even if I wasn't meant to. But it wasn't really bad. Like, if it's all you can do, you got to do it. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly, man. Exactly. Got to do these things.
So I made it. Then Mad Dog Boris.
Yep.
He called me up about the Bulls team because I think they were going to sign Mitch Delphs maybe, and he fell through last minute, so they had to get someone on board. And I was like, "Yep, keen as." And I was like, "Wow, they're going to pay as well." Because that would have been
difficult. Now you've had 2 years out, like.
Yeah, getting a ride would have been really hard.
Tough, yeah.
And then they're paying as well, so I was like, sweet, yeah, I'll take that. And I went there in 2013 and then rode for them for 3 years. Right. And that was like, everything came good from there.
Really?
Pretty much.
Yeah. And would you say that changed the trajectory? God, that's a big word for a Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah.
Of your career and everything, like, it all started to pick up from there.
Yeah, pretty much on that team. Like I put in a lot of work.
Was the bike good?
Yeah, the bike was a lot better than I realised then. We always had small things that we could have had better, but we just worked with what we had. But as far as
German company,
yeah, okay. So they weren't super motivated. Like it's more of a marketing project for them.
Because it's a big old brand. I had a quick look actually just before because we don't really see them here.
More of a marketing project than an engineering project.
Got you.
So they didn't put a huge amount of resources into it for the engineers' side. And it could have been a great bike, but it was a good bike.
Good bike. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So that made a difference. Well, we had to develop it at the start. We didn't have the bike to start with, so I'd race on the pivot bike.
Okay. The same company, or does that make? Do they own a few of the different brands, or?
Nah, they're not the same company. So we just bought a pivot bike and I'd race on that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And I think we had some pretty crazy moments there as well. Like I think we got the bike because I did some races on the pivot bike at the start of the season. Then we got the frames. Then at Val di Sole, I think we were warming up for qualifying and noticed that my frame was cracked, real bad.
Right.
And then they're like, "Oh, we'll call the engineer." Engineer's like, "No, don't ride." I'm like, "Well, I didn't come here and fought with him the race before. I got a flat tire, so I was quite pissed off." And I was like, "I didn't come here not to ride, so I'm riding."
Right.
One mechanic's like, "Yeah, Nico Volius would ride with that crack." So I was like, "All right, I'm riding."
That'll do.
Yeah. And then I was like, trying to ride Val di Sole smoothly. I think I qualified 38th, and then in the final I got 22nd. So I was like,
fuck
sweet.
Yeah. Sick.
Yeah. But it was stressful at the same time because you're like, I hope this doesn't break.
It's in the back of your mind.
Around the head tube, it's not a good place.
Making a habit of snapping them around the head tube in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is, yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't do that these days.
Nah.
Avoid those issues. But that team pretty much turned it around for me, and then I went from there to GT now, and now I'm in my 4th year at GT. So
how's it at GT, man? You enjoying that? Good team?
Yeah, happy. Yeah, like it's been a good time. We've got a good crew. It's pretty relaxed, and Martin's been killing it as well. So it's pretty good to be behind the scenes for some of that. And then I've won EWS in New Zealand, so that was pretty unreal.
Amazing
for me. That was like a dream.
Yeah.
To do that at home, and then this season in Enduros started off really good. So try and keep that going and go from there.
I thought Martin was going to do a few downhill as well, and he didn't. So I called that out as well. We did an episode with Cathro just before the season started, and we were both agreed Martin would do a couple of each at the start of the year, but not.
Yeah, he wanted to, and then the first Enduros went really good, so
just focus on that.
He's put his focus on that and see how that goes.
Yeah.
I think we might see him at World Champs if it all goes well.
Cool. Unlucky for everyone else.
Yeah, he goes pretty well.
Fuck yeah, he does. Crazy, man, the way he did last year. Crazy. So obviously now, being on GT, living the life you set out to live, would you say?
Yeah.
It's amazing. How hard is it to continue? I think we spoke about this really briefly at the start, like to stay relevant, and when did the idea for, I think it was it called Dirt TV initially, or was it Wyn TV? I can never remember.
I've done Wyn TV. 2010, I was doing a little bit for MTB Cut as well.
Okay. The German mag, yeah.
No, the Stu Hughes thing.
Oh
no, not Stu Hughes, Stu
Thompson,
Scottish. Yeah, that does for Danny McCaskill.
Yes, Stu Thompson. Sorry, yeah, I get those two mixed up all the time.
His thing, but Mono Bartlett he was working for him at doing the World Cup coverage. Mm-hmm. So I was doing some videos with Mono, and that was quite cool. Mm. And then from there, I kind of realized that I should keep doing that, or
enjoy it,
make it into something. Or it's kind of like, just enjoy having a laugh after the race or before, and talking a bit of crap with everyone. Really,
yeah. It's good, man. I think, and it does keep you super relevant because they're always funny, And I think that's something that now, like we said before, like you got to be super mindful of like staying relevant and doing things a little bit differently. What do you think? I don't know, like where do you think it's all going though? You've got like social media is huge now in our industry and sport. People focusing on doing vlogs. You could say that, even podcasts now are starting to come up, like Eddie and Bernard and they just do it.
I'd like to do something myself, but it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, for sure. It is really. Time.
But,
it is time.
Yeah, I don't have much time now because trying to do 2 race series, make videos, and do some wheelie videos as well. It's pretty busy.
Yeah.
And when you're not at a race, you kind of want to chill a bit.
Of course, man. There needs to be some downtime for sure. Like you can't always be on, and I think it feels like athletes are having to work twice as hard to keep relevant. Do you think that's
for sure.
True? Yeah.
And then they only look at your last race quite often, so like you're only as good as your last race. So, like within reason anyway, but it's pretty cutthroat.
Yeah.
From that regard, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But it's kind of cool. I mean, you get some amazing insights. Like Finn's vlog he's doing is really cool. There's a bunch of them that are sick, right? But like you just said, there's got to be that time where you're just like, nah, I'm just here to like race and then not get out of here. But that's your job at the end of the day. Like the racing, that's the job part. Everything else is like, that's the meat and potatoes. Everything else is the salt and pepper on the side, right? Like
but the Wyn TV's grown quite a lot. So it's quite important as well now. And it shows a bit more of a personal side to the riders, so I think that's why a lot of people like it.
Yeah, definitely. And like with what Cathro is doing as well, like it just shows that extra bit of what you didn't really get to see beforehand. Which is important as well, and that's why I think this side of things, like with the podcast growing, because you get to hear like a long form chat rather than just like your bullet pointy stuff. But yeah, it'd be cool, man. You should do a podcast for sure.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it, but it's just when I have time,
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely time, mate. These things take a while to do, but then it's like everything on the back end of it as well, like just the editing, mastering, all that sort of stuff. But yeah.
I think a lot of it would be good with the stuff that I'm already doing, so it could kind of add to it. But
Yeah, for sure.
We'll see. Yeah.
Yes. If you look at your career right now, like take a step back, look at your career. What's been the highlights?
Well, like all or the one or
just like the main thing that stands out. Like, what's the one thing that you're like super proud that you did?
probably to win that race in Rotorua in New Zealand. So
that EWS.
Yeah, to win that was probably kind of ticking off something you wanted to do, you know.
Yeah, like
winning
you said,
like a world level event at home is pretty good, you know. And everyone can say, "Oh, it's home advantage, this, that, or the other," but it was super muddy and real hard conditions. So
same for everyone.
Yeah, even Nico Volios sent me a message and said he knows how hard it is to win at home. So that's pretty nice.
Yeah, that's mega, dude. That's mega. What I was also going to say is, excuse me. After all that struggle, like at the beginning of your career and stuff, do you reckon that's really helped shape you? And is that why you've ended up setting up the privateer thing? Because you've gone through all that struggle. Like, is that what did it like really resonate with you to make sure that those guys were getting supported?
Yeah, I think it's kind of. I saw them doing it in motocross, and I was like, why do we not have that in mountain biking? And it's so much harder to get a result living like that than if you're in a team with full support and fresh tires on for your run or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, like some guys are racing on like super old tires. Like you're already at a big disadvantage before you've even started.
Yeah.
And then you might not have had a good sleep or whatever, but it is refreshing to be a privateer as well.
Okay.
Because you're racing only for yourself, so it's quite nice.
Yeah, a little bit less pressure in some respects.
Well, a lot from yourself if you've invested everything, but it's for you. It's for you. You know, it's quite cool.
Yeah, there's no like boss on your shoulder, like
no, nothing. So it's just for you. But it's cool to acknowledge those guys, and then hopefully by doing that, giving them a bit more coverage as well, and some money at the end of it as well, is going to elevate them to the next level, or put them in front of a team manager that might not have seen them.
Do you think that the UCI do enough to help privateers? Because the reason I asked that, and I probably already know the answer actually, but like when you launched it, like your social media thing was kind of PC, whereas Eddie's was a bit of it looked like
a dig.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
So is there anything going on behind the scenes that you just like, I maybe didn't realise that they weren't helping them at all?
No, not
No?
really.
Okay.
There's not help for them. It's like if you want to do it, you have to do it yourself. And now that they cut it down to 60 qualifiers, makes it a lot harder. So it's a pretty tough road.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's cool, man. Like I said, initially I think it's really commendable what you've done, man. It's massive. And for people listening, just as a footnote, there'll be a link in the show description to make a donation as well. So
yeah,
I'll throw a link there.
Will be appreciated
for sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure put food on the table for someone.
for sure. Do you think as well, like, I feel like the industry has gone, and I might be wrong in saying this, almost like circles of people that have elevated the salary. So Palmer definitely came in and elevated that.
Yeah. And then it dropped.
It dropped. Yeah, and then would you say Gwyn's come in and?
Yeah, he's done it again. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Big time. But he's elevating the salaries for the top 5 or 10.
Everyone else stays the same.
Because he was vocal about his salary.
Right.
Which is cool. I think everyone should know anyway, like, what he did was really good. Like,
yeah, because we don't know. In almost every other sport, you can find out, Yeah,
you could just type it in Google.
Yeah, LeBron earns this. Whoever.
Yeah. But he did good by doing that because it pushed other guys up. Maybe he pushed himself out of reach of some brands, but
yeah,
I think he's happy.
And would you say off the back of that, downhill and mountain biking, enduro, whatever, is in a better place because of it, or
for the top riders?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Maybe not so much enduro, more downhill.
Right.
And enduro's in a good place because of the participation numbers. So it's a lot of people that are riding those bikes and doing those events.
Yeah.
And the enduro is that's pure mountain biking for me.
Oh yeah, it is. Is that where your headspace is at as well these days? Can you see yourself not switching, but like doing more enduro over downhill, or?
Yeah, at this season I do all the enduros and not all the downhills, which I haven't done before, but I'm like, I've been to these downhill venues, most of them 10 times. And even like Maribor or wherever, we're racing on the same track that I raced on 2008.
Yeah.
So it's like pretty cool to go to these enduros, and you're generally going to a different venue every time, riding all the good tracks in the place, and maybe some average ones as well, but
plenty of bike time.
Yeah, you're on your bike the whole time.
Yeah.
And just a good experience, you know.
I can see that, man, and like you say, it's more accessible to the general public as well, to just buy one bike and go do that, than to buy a downhill bike and obviously
if I didn't race downhill, I would never have a downhill bike. Yeah. Because what for?
Why for? What for?
Yeah, unless you live somewhere with a lift in your at your back door, it's a hassle. Like, it doesn't make sense to have to drive up the mountain.
No,
like,
it really doesn't.
They're just like not right.
No,
to me. Like, I'd rather pedal up, and it takes 2 hours, and then you ride down once, then drive up. Like, for the amount of riding you get in downhill, it's kind of a lot of effort, because you need someone that can drive.
A lot of money tied up in a bike as well, let's be honest.
Yeah,
but those things aren't
you might
cheap.
do a big day, like you do 10 runs, and you do 10 runs a 3-minute track, it's 30 minutes.
Yes.
If you go for a ride on your trail bike, you can be riding for 4 hours, and you're probably descending maybe an hour, you know?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, for sure. And I think that's the way I'd be looking at it right now if I was choosing to do either or.
Yeah.
I'd be heading enduro for sure, you know?
Yeah, enduro is definitely now more accessible for a privateer rider, probably.
Yeah.
But it's very hard. It would be very hard to work on your bike after riding all day. So, like, that side of it would be harder, but it's accessible to do.
Yeah. So
downhill is a bit more elite now.
Out of the privateers, the enduro guys have probably got it a little bit. Nah, it's hard to say. Don't matter. That's stupid.
I don't think it's easier.
No.
But the top 60 in downhill is the depth is way deeper. The top 60 or the top 80, 90 is very fast.
Yeah.
And if top 90 in enduro is a big difference, like
it's huge.
Like,
right?
Yeah.
I understand.
So that from that side, a privateer has more chance to make it in enduro unless he's like killing it at downhill. Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah. All right. Do you want to do a few listener questions, bro?
Yeah, sweet. Let's go.
All right. Let me crank up the iPhone. Got to be mindful of your time. You don't get to spend much time with your girlfriend, man. So we got to enjoy it.
Oh no, she's working. So.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's just see what we got, dude. We got a bunch of questions for you came in, which is pretty cool. All right. Some of these might go over what we've already done. All right. Oh, okay. First one. Actually, at Gypsy Tales Podcast. Do you miss Derby Dan? Also, when are you coming on Gypsy Tales? And then he put #podcast hijack.
Yeah, Derby Dan is a hell of a guy.
Who's that?
He's we did a video, me and Jace from Gypsy Tales Podcast, and we were staying at like this house, and it was Derby Dan's house, so he'd rented his house out,
Right.
But he stayed in the backyard in a tent and had a power lead running from the house to the tent and had the TV set up with the PlayStation in the tent. Then this guy had kids as well. The kids would be like, they had like goats and stuff in the backyard. Like, it was a hell of a setup.
Wow.
And he'd just be in the tent all day playing PlayStation.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Derby Dan. Yeah, I miss Derby Dan. And yeah, I'll be on Gypsy Tales sometime.
Let's do it.
When we link up, yeah.
Amazing. Fucking hell, that's funny. Okay, what else we got? At 2-to-1 racing. If you and your bro/Vanzax crew had £100 to spend on something to add to your tour bus, what would it be?
Tour bus. Oh, £100 was it?
Yeah.
That's quite a lot.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a good couple of weeks' food right there.
Yeah, well, I never had a tour bus, so...
I think it's coming, dude. Big Wyn on the side, Wyn TV, like the whole thing.
Gold.
Yeah, gold. Yeah. Something to really upstage Palmer's.
Yeah. He had like chrome. I'm going gold.
Go gold. Yeah, gold leaf. Yeah.
What could we have? You probably want something pretty good to cook your food, but it depends what sort of tour bus you've got already.
Mm.
So, like. Because if he's singing like a privateer tour bus, ain't much of a tour bus.
No. That's a camping stove.
Yeah, it's like a dodgy van, yeah.
Yeah.
So you probably want a decent kitchen setup.
Okay.
Buying food adds up way too quick.
Fuck yeah, it does.
If you're a privateer, yeah.
Yeah, it does. Next one. At stupid_does. Who was responsible for getting you to do the first Wyn TV?
Probably MTV Cut, I think. But I also did, 2009, I did a video, Wyn Masters at home, I think. So that was kind of like my first video. So I did it myself. It wasn't the interview side, but it was writing and stuff like that, and had Jason the Penguin in it.
Did it? Amazing.
Yeah.
Is that around? Like, is it on YouTube or what?
Yeah, I'll try and find it.
That'd be amazing, man. Try and find that. That'd be sick.
Yeah. I think it's on Vimeo.
Is it?
I lost heaps of my films because they were on Empora.
Oh, right.
Sucks.
Yeah. Have you done anything else outside of the mountain bike stuff as far as presenting or?
Not really. Just commentating a few races.
Yeah.
Here and there. Yeah.
You'd be good at that, man. Some sort of TV show, I think, is pretty good.
Yeah. One day, yeah.
Travel show.
Yeah.
If you're not already over traveling already, like some sort of travel show.
Yeah. Love sitting in the plane, yeah.
Yeah, I bet. At John Hansen, if you had to pick the top 5 World Cup races and the top 5 Supercross races to cross compare with, who would you pick and why? Wow, that's a decent question.
It's a tough one.
Yeah. Example: at Greg Menard is the same as at Ricky Carmichael.
Well, he probably is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's probably the easiest one because they're both goats.
Sure.
Greg's still going though. Ricky retired pretty early, so yeah.
Dude, he retired and went for it on the burgers, eh?
Yeah.
He went in.
Greg's still battling for the win.
I know, just 0.3 off a second of winning a World Cup, man.
Yeah, he turns 38 this year too.
Crazy.
So it's pretty impressive. But
it is.
Sam Hill in his prime, when he's doing wild runs on the Iron Horse, would have to be a James Stewart.
Oof, that's good.
Yeah. And then, wow. Steve Peake's probably a Chad Reed.
You reckon?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of... Steve kept going too long, I think, a little bit, and Chad's doing the same, so... Just
holding on, man. Just getting the final bits of milk out of that tea, and we're good.
yeah, but Chad's still fast as...
Fuck yeah, dude. He looked good this year.
Yeah. But it just luck's not in his favour sometimes, but it's probably hard. So that's 3. And then Gwyn. I don't know who he is.
Gwyn.
He's probably close to a Dungey, like in the way they approach things.
That's
and
true.
their mentality. Yeah.
And now they're business partners.
Yeah. So that kind of fits together. And I don't know who's the other top 5 rider.
I go, Blanky's like a Barsha.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. He was winning at one point.
Yeah. But still looks
now
stylish.
Now he's still there and looks like he's sending it every moment.
Yeah. That's a good question. I like that one.
Yeah.
Who else we got? Oh, this is good. At Rick Leggy. If you had to pick 4 other riders to create your own dream team with, who would you pick and why?
It's a good question.
It is.
Probably Blinky would be one because he always looks sick.
Yeah. Style points all day long.
You would get Troy because he's always on the podium.
2 years, isn't it? Something like that?
Yeah, he's always on the podium.
Yeah.
So you'd have to get Troy. Even if I'm not like Troy's biggest fan, but he's Mr. Consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Like it would have been Greg because he's been the same as that, but until recently. So I wouldn't pick a 38-year-old for my team, I don't think, if I was choosing a team.
Yeah, if you're a manager.
But if he was a couple of years ago, I'd definitely pick Greg.
One more.
Then, wow. Is it a downhill team? Must be.
Can be.
Yeah, it have to be.
Yeah.
Probably Martin Mace.
For sure.
Because, you couldn't say no, and he's pretty humble and relaxed for a guy that has done so well already at such a young age.
young as well. Like,
Yeah.
I forget. Literally, I watched the Spokestails thing you guys did the start of the year, and you forget. I'm like, is he 21? Like, what the?
Yeah, he's just turned 22, so
Just turned 22. Like,
and
what
quite
the hell?
often that amount of success can go to your head a bit, but it hasn't for him. So
I'd like to get him on here. Actually, he'd make a good guest. I think that'd be pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. At Ali Clarkson, legend.
Yeah.
I know the rider's skill is hang on, let me start again. I know the rider's skill is the most important aspect, but how much do you think the bike tech helps these days? Could the fastest riders still be competitive if they were on a team with worse, older, and less maintained bikes?
Yeah, the bikes are pretty amazing right now. Like most of the stuff you can just buy at the shop too, so it's pretty cool that a privateer can have the same. Used to be all this, like a lot of the top riders had prototype stuff.
Yeah.
But now it's all very similar, so it's pretty good. And I'm not sure how competitive you would be on the old bike, but it would depend how old it is.
Yeah. Okay.
So
as far as geometry goes, or
if you went a few years back, it's going to be pretty hard, I think.
I reckon Brendan could still make that Honda look good.
That was a pretty cool looking bike.
It was a pretty cool looking bike, to be fair. But
yeah. But then you would look at it now and it'd be really steep and really short.
Yeah.
And the tracks are very fast now, so I think it would be pretty hard to ride and compete on the tracks we're racing on. Yeah. Be like Ali Clarkson's trials bike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever done trials?
No, I've never done trials. It's seems like a UK thing.
Well, yeah,
big,
probably. Yeah.
big there. It's never been a thing in New Zealand, really.
Is it not?
So, I wish I'd done it because it gives you heaps of skills for playing around on the bike, which is pretty cool. But no, I never did trials, so I just do wheelies on the way to school.
Okay, I think Ali's going to Malvern, so maybe this weekend's your trials debut or something.
Yeah, I'm not very good. Eh?
You are?
I've only got a couple of hops.
Oh, really?
Not very good on trials. Yeah.
A couple of backups.
Yeah.
At 35 Bikes, do you ever get called Wayne?
Yeah, occasionally. People. Yeah.
at Unite Components, what's the secret to staying relevant?
I guess being yourself, I think, is important, and doing what you would do anyway. And then just like the more you speak as yourself rather than just writing like a boring caption.
I fucking love someone like Ollie's caption. Ollie Wilkins' captions always grease me up.
Yeah, just be yourself and put content out there if you want to be seen.
Yeah. Last one at Ride Home. When are you and at Ben Cathro going to team up and give Rob Warner and Claudio a run for their money?
Oh, I'd love to. Yeah, it'd be a good laugh. But we haven't been invited by Red Bull just yet. So
funny if you guys did a
alternative commentary.
Alternative commentary. Yeah, that'd be hilarious. That'd be funny.
Yeah, it would be good. Yeah,
cool, man. Well,
he's a bit of an analyst, Cathro. So
he's killing it, man. I'm so stoked for him, honestly. So stoked.
It'd be good
for
to
him.
be the laugh behind the analyst.
Yeah. It would. For sure. I'm so stoked for him, though, man. He's killing it.
He's doing great. Yeah.
Got to know Ben over the last couple of years, mainly through this actually, and it's so cool to see him finally getting. He was doing the privateer thing, but on the media side, right? Like he was paying for everything himself. He was out there hustling, similar to Boris. Like Boris did the whole thing as well.
And cracked into it. Finally,
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see that when people break through.
Starting to pay off for him. Yeah, he's all over the internet now. So
yeah, he really is,
good.
man. Getting huge views and
stuff.
Stuff.
Yeah, he's doing great content, so it's good.
For sure.
And he's actually a real fast rider, so
also gives it that little bit of a stamp of approval because you know that he also hauls on a bike.
I think most of the World Cup riders are waiting for his videos to come out so they can check which line they want to take.
Yeah.
I
think so too. I think was it last year when Rachel was like, "Oh, I'm just sat watching Cathro Vision trying to figure out where to go."
A lot of people are watching it.
For sure.
Because he times the sections. It's pretty good when you have a section with 3 different lines. Then you can see what's the best line.
Yeah. Do you guys have team? I don't know. Team members go up and do that for you as well?
Not on our team, but some of the teams have that, and they have people filming and timing on the track. So yeah.
Okay, cool, man. Well, appreciate you taking the time out and doing this. For anybody listening, there's a link in the show description to get behind the GoFundMe and to follow Wyn if you don't already. If you one of the 200,000 people or whatever it is that don't follow him, but yeah, man, thanks, man. I appreciate you taking the time out. And Malvern's this weekend. Might see you there.
Yep, sweet. It should be good.
We will see. But have a good time. No doubt, it's going to be. Don't bring your what do they call them in New Zealand? Fucking jandals, right?
Nah, no jandals. Looks like a bit of rain, but
wellies this weekend for sure.
Jandals still handle the rain occasionally.
Jandals still handles.
Handle the jandal.
Handle the jandals. All right, man. Again, appreciate your time.
Thanks very much.
And good to catch up, and well done with all your stuff you're doing, dude. And have a great rest of your year if we don't catch up properly.
Yeah, cheers.
All right, dude.
Thanks very much. Hey.
You're welcome. Hang there. Let me just stop this recording. And that's it, folks. Episode number 78 is in the bag. Huge thank you for listening. If you have enjoyed this episode, please don't forget, leave an iTunes review. You could win some Sax underwear. Share the podcast with your friends. You could also win some Sax underwear. And check out our show sponsors too, hookitproducts.co.uk, saxunderwear.com. And if you're at Malvern's this weekend, if you listen to this and it's before Malvern's, today is the 12th of June, head over to the Sax underwear stand, mention the podcast, and you'll get a pair of Sax for £5 English. Holy shit. Yep, £5. All right, guys, it's been emotional. Thank you for your love and support. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll catch you for episode number 79. Boom.